coastline of the Pacific Northwest is a ragged and rocky one, with cliffs sometimes running right down to the sea. All of these rocks make the Oregon coast a perfect place for tide pooling. Tide pools are formed during low tide. When the water recedes or drops down, some water is left behind in little pools among the rocks. Any animals caught in the pools simply stay there until the water comes back at high tide. There are many different creatures that you might find in the tide pool. Some animals, like barnacles, may spend their entire lives stuck in one place. Other animals, like fish and sea stars, may travel between tide pools during high tide or back and forth between the pools and the open ocean. Still, other animals, such as octopuses, will live farther out in the ocean but travel in to the shore to hunt. These animals may occasionally get trapped in a tide pool or may stay in a tide pool on purpose looking for food. So here we are at the Oregon coast, one of the most beautiful places in the world, and we're here tide pooling. Our two crabs. One is alive and the other one isn't. See him right there? This is one of the little purple shore crabs. Now this thing right here is, no, it's actually not dead. This is the exoskeleton, the shedded skin of a crab. So what happens is the crabs start to grow, and they get bigger, they shed their skin and they shed them in one large piece. So this is probably one from a crab that's still alive. It might even be one from this crab that I'm holding right here.
Yeah. A rockfish. Can I hold it?
Yeah. Why don't you guys hold it? Just don't drop him.
Oh my gosh!
Whoop, he fell in.
I know what that is.
What is it? So see the fish right there? Oh, that's a sculpin.
Sculpin?
Yeah, tadpole sculpin.
Hey, you guys see this stuff right here?
I haven't found any chitin yet.
See this stuff right here?
Yeah.
This stuff's great. You want to eat it?
No.
Oh, sure.
Come on, let's try and eat it, man.
Hand it over.
Let's try it. It won't hurt you.
I'll try it.
You sure you're going to try some?
No, I found something.
It's called fucus.
That tastes good.
Yeah, it's kind of salty. You know what?
The hermit
You've
crab
already
is
eaten this before.
gum.
Yeah, it's in gum and it's also in ice cream. Yeah. The stuff, it contains a substance called algin, and it helps things stick together. And so in ice cream, they put it in ice cream. Yeah.
Didn't they like used to use
Look at this hermit crab.
The one like
Yeah, check it out. It's a little
Whoa,
crab.
cool.
And you can see his claw.
Yeah, this
I'm
one.
gonna put it on my hand and see if I'm Oh, there's a limpet right there.
Put it on your hand for a little while.
Look at that limpet right there.
Yeah, there's a limpet right there.
Maybe. Look at.
Oh, cool.
Oh, there's a limpet right there.
Put it on your hand for a little while.
Look at that limpet right there.
Yeah, there's a limpet right there. Stick that rock.
Cool. Oh, it's just like a shell or something.
Right there.
A shell.
And there's an anemone.
Look how big that.
Maybe an anemone.
Here he comes. There's an enemy.
Hey, cool? Mm-hmm. You might actually see on the other side. It's really hold on to the rocks and stuff.
Can they let go of the rocks?
So fishermen used to really not like these guys, and they would chop them up sometimes.
What
They would chop them up, and you know what happens? Oh, because they'll sometimes...
Look, there. Grow back. His leg is missing right there.
Yeah, I don't know. I think it might be that it's just kind of spread out like that.
Yeah, it's just spread out. The anus.
What happens if you cut off the legs of the sea star?
They grow back.
They grow back. And in fact, if there's enough genetic material in one of the arms, it'll grow a whole new sea star. Isn't that creepy? Yeah. Isn't that kind of cool? This is a classic sea star that you find here on the Oregon coast. Yeah, this is called a gumboot chitin. It's huge. It's one of the things that actually sticks to a rock like that. All right? This is the underside part.
What do they eat?
I'm not sure. I would imagine they eat a lot of plankton, a lot of small things that float around in the water. Probably even some plant material.
Cool.
Yeah, feel how soft it is on the outside? A little bit different from the other chitin. The other chitins seem kind of hard. They get those hard scales on them.
Yeah. Well, where'd you find it? Right down there.
Yeah, she found it right down over there. It's just hanging out in the lettuce. The sea lettuce. Isn't that cool? Feels kind of mossy. Yeah. Devin, I wonder what these would taste like. You want to try one?
Oh, yum.
Hey, Sean, how big do these guys grow?
Well, let me see. Is that one of the purple shore crabs? Yeah. So they can get to be about that big.
Really?
They get pretty
That's
big.
it?
Yeah.
Do they
Don't get as big as the Dungeness crab.
Yeah, here.
do they come from eggs or what?
Hmm?
Where do they come from?
Well, they come from eggs, yeah.
That's what I
They're little tiny eggs. We're talking about thousands and thousands of eggs that these crabs produce.
Oh, how cute.
Most of them don't survive because a lot of them get eaten by other
Last
fish
time you
and
had
even
one, you
anemones
dropped
or other
it. They're
problems.
tasty too.
Yeah, he's cool. See how slimy it is on the
How
inside?
does it eat? What does it eat?
Well, I'm sure
Does it
that
eat
it's
other
eating.
barnacles?
I'm sure it eats other little things that live on the rocks. Things like barnacles, maybe some shells, mussels, things like that, as well as some plankton, anything that sticks to rocks. Grab hold of it. Yeah. Cool. Looks like a big pair of lips, doesn't it? It's got a big old pair of lips. Why don't you give him a kiss? These are kind of cool. You want to put him back where you found him? All right, be careful. Don't fall in. Did you guys see the sea urchins stuck in the rocks?
The purpley ones?
Yep, prickly ones. Let me see if I can show you.
You didn't get one?
Well, I don't think I'm going to be able to get one because they're buried in there pretty good. But you can see them right here. Yeah. See them right here? Right there. These are what I was telling you about that are really important as a commercial fishery. These are the ones that divers go out and harvest. They love to eat kelp. In fact, sea urchins eat a mass amount of kelp.
They do?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. It's the actual part of that sea urchin.
Hey,
The sea
Sean.
urchin lost all of its spikes, fell off, it's left behind this hollow shell. This hollow shell is called a test. Yeah, it's called a test. It's actually hollow inside.
There's another one down there.
Yeah, you can see where all these bumps are on it? That's where a lot of those little, the little spike roots sticking out. Isn't that cool? Yeah, these guys love to eat seaweed. They love to eat kelp. Kelp is very tasty. Yeah.
I eat.
Sometimes the sea urchins can get really huge.
Yeah.
Get really big.
That's a pretty small one.
Yeah, this one's a pretty small one. There are a few important things to keep in mind if you decide to go tide pooling so that you'll have a good time and both you and the tide pools will stay safe. First of all, remember the best time to go tide pooling is during what's called a minus tide. This is a low tide that's even lower than normal. You can find out when a minus tide will occur by looking at a local tidal guide. Make sure you wear sturdy shoes with rubber soles so you won't fall on the slippery rocks. While you're tide pooling, keep an eye out for waves and never ever turn your back to the ocean. Watch where you step so you don't walk on top of plants and animals living in and around the tide pools. If you do pick up any animals, always handle them very carefully with wet hands and be sure to put them back exactly where you found them. And finally, pick up any garbage and debris that you find and throw it away. This will make the tide pools nicer for other people and for the animals that live there.
This is an animal called a sea star. Now, a lot of people call these starfish, but that's really not the best name because they're not fish at all. They are invertebrates. They don't have any bones like fish do. And of course, one of the easiest ways to recognize a sea star is because they'll have their legs in fives or in some multiple of 5. An interesting thing about sea stars is the way that they feed. If you look on the underside of a sea star, they have thousands and thousands of these little tiny suction cups called tube feet, and they're operated by water pressure. The sea star takes water into his body and uses the pressure to extend or pull back or retract these little tube feet. Well, sea stars love to feed on clams, and so one of the things they can do is wrap around a clam and put their arms around it and use all these little tube feet to hold on and to pull that clam apart. And after a while, if that clam gets just tired enough to open up just a little bit, the sea star actually drops his stomach outside of his mouth, outside of his body, down into the clam, and he starts to digest the clam externally before he pulls his stomach back up into his mouth. Pretty interesting, huh?
There was one animal we were really hoping to see when we went tide pooling. Allie's favorite marine invertebrate, the octopus. Octopuses are considered by many scientists to be the most intelligent of all the invertebrates. They're shy but curious animals and certainly aren't the sea monsters described in legends of ancient sailors. We didn't get to see an octopus when we went tide pooling, but we were lucky enough to get to visit the Hatfield Marine Science Center in Newport, Oregon, where we met a giant Pacific octopus and got to talk to one of the staff members about her. When we met the octopus, she seemed as curious about us as we were about her. She stretched her arms up and grabbed onto ours. Maybe this is the octopus's way of shaking hands. Some of my very favorite marine invertebrates are the many crabs that you can find in tide pools along the sandy beach. A common crab on the Oregon coast is the Dungeness crab. The best way to see these crabs is to take a few friends with you and do some crabbing down from the docks. What we're going to do is we're going to do some crabbing. Now this is a really, really cool thing to do because first of all, you don't have to have anything like a fishing license or anything like that to be able to go crabbing. All you need is something like this, crab net, or what we call a crab ring, and you need some really stinky, disgusting bait, something to be able to lure the crabs to you, all right? And you need a large body of water, right? Obviously, you need the ocean, right? And there's a lot of really good places to go crabbing. Here in Charleston, this is a really good spot because this is kind of farther out towards the bay, so it should be pretty deep. Also, a good time to go crabbing is usually in the evenings and also when the tide comes back in. Now, pretty simple. The object is to obviously try and catch some crabs. Well, this is a crab ring, and how we're going to do this, I got to undo this crab ring. This is nice and rolled up. And we're going to unroll this crab ring. And
so it's most important to go crabbing when the tide's coming back in, right? When the tide's going out, the crabs go out with the tide?
Yeah, and when the tide's coming back in, the crabs are coming back in, and they're hungry. They're ready to go. Yeah, they've been out for a while. Okay, pretty simple little device. You can rent these, or you can actually buy them for around $15 or $20. Now, what happens is we throw the crab ring out into the ocean, and it sits at the bottom. And right here is a little clip that we use to attach something like a fish head, or fish parts to, or chicken guts, anything that's really meaty and disgusting. Crabs love to eat, right? So we're going to pierce that and hook it to the bottom of the net. Now, in fact, where is my disgusting, rotten, gross bait? Where is that at?
Ew, okay. What is it? It's a
Let's see what we have on the menu for today. Oh, look at that.
Ooh,
we're so lucky.
Ooh, we got
It's fish parts. Look at that.
No, actually, that doesn't look too bad.
That's not too bad. That looks nice. That didn't look too bad.
That's a good piece right
I've
there.
seen worse.
I know, I didn't get any fish heads.
I've seen worse.
So what we're going to do is we're going to pierce this thing somewhere through the meat. All right, we're going to try and get it on there so it's nice and
Otherwise, they'll pull it off and go with it.
Yeah, otherwise,
Yeah, they'll escape.
Yeah.
You gave it.
Yeah, put another piece of it like that.
Do you have a fish head?
I don't want
Okay, and then we're going to put it through the thing, the center of the ring, and hook it on there, right? Now, what's going to happen is we're going to put this, throw it over the side, tie it off, wait a few minutes, hang out, and then we're going to slowly start to pull it up real steady.
So it's flat on the ocean bottom.
Hopefully,
and the crabs can crawl in there.
Hopefully little crabs will come up and go, hey, free me up, right? And they'll crawl up around here, hang out here, start eating on the fish. After a few minutes, we're going to reach down, pull it up real fast, and guess what happens?
They're caught.
Voila. Basket full of crab, right? Holding on the end there, Nick?
Got it.
Good job. All right, here we go.
Now hold on.
There it goes. You guys ready?
5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
There we go.
Back
What's
up.
up? We're going.
So we've got room. Let's see if we got any.
Do we have any? Oh!
my gosh.
Actually, my crab. All right.
Wow. You got a lot of crabs.
All right, yeah, see, let's look at the light here.
One
Look
get
out.
away. You guys move.
There we go. Check those out. Okay.
Check that out.
Hold on a second. Hold on a second.
Check it
Yeah, now the
out.
proper way, I want to show you guys this for a second.
I
The
grab them
proper
like
way
this.
to hold a crab is by holding them by the
you can't go
claws.
anywhere,
See?
crab.
Like this. See that? Like that?
Pinching my shoe.
Okay. This way, it won't pinch you. You guys do not want to get pinched by these at all.
Ouch.
Yeah, you do not want to get pinched by these. Best thing to do is hold them by the claws. See how you hold them like that by the claws? Just see how this is kind of skinny and narrow, and this one's kind of short and fat? This is the female, and this is the male. It's important to know that because sometimes we don't want to take the females during different times of the year because the females have eggs, and we want them to reproduce so there'll be more crabs, right? So this time of year, it's illegal for us to take any of the females. Also, here in Oregon, We have to have a size limit on the type of crabs we have. I want to show you guys this because this is really important if you guys are going to go and catch crabs and you're going to keep them and try and eat them. This is what's called a crab ruler, all right? Now this ruler says that it is legal to take a certain size crab if you're in the state of Oregon, Washington, or California. Oregon has the smallest size limit because they're the most crabs apparently must live off the coast of Oregon, right? So what we do is we put them across the back. Now, if the crab is bigger than the inside part of this ruler, then we can keep them. Only if it's a male. Is this one inside the crab? I mean, is this one bigger than the ruler?
No.
No, this one's way too small, right? In fact, most of these I think we have here
What about
today
this one right here?
are
This
way
big
too
guy.
small. Well, let's take a look at that big guy.
It's a
That's actually
female,
a big
though.
girl, right? Yeah, let me take a look at her. Let's take a look
So
at
it
her.
would be illegal to take her anyways, but let's see how she measures.
Yeah, let's see if she measures up to our crab.
What
ruler.
if you
See
were
that?
caught?
Check that out. Nope, way too small. Yeah.
She's still
Got a couple
supposed to
inches.
find one that big.
Well, they're in here. They're in here.
That's almost the size of
Okay, now this is a species of crab called the Dungeness crab, all right? Now, the Dungeness crab's a little bit different from the other crabs. You guys have that bucket? You guys want to hand me that bucket over there?
These are big
The other one looks like a triangle.
No. Now, the Dungeness crab's a little bit different from these guys, because these guys...
Hi, Dad.
Pushing on that bucket a little hard. This guy right here is called the kelp crab. See the difference in the crab?
He looks like a spider.
Yeah, he almost looks like a spider. Check him out.
He only
Yeah.
has one claw.
Yeah, he's only got one claw. Hold on
Somebody
to it.
pinched off his
A
own
little
claw.
bit different from these guys, right? A little bit different from this one right here.
Do they have to be the same size?
Huh?
Do they have to
Well,
be the same
actually,
size as
this
those ones?
these ones right here.
Kelp crabs.
Hold on, I gotta get a hold of her. She's just going wild. Okay, you can eat kelp crabs if you want, but usually the kelp crabs don't get big enough for you to really get much meat out
Do
of
they
them.
have to be a certain size too?
Nope, the kelp crabs I don't think do. All right,
be
but kelp
any
crabs are pretty hard to catch because they live on kelp and they live on the pilings. They live on
So
the
that's
dock
like a
pilings.
rare occasion to catch one up there.
Well, I think Chris just saw this one crawling across one of the pilings.
And I saw another one.
That's a good question. Now, these crabs, the Dungeness crabs, like these guys here, live mainly on the bottom, right? They get most of their food on the bottom. These, however, the kelp crabs, live on the pilings, and they get most of their food on kelp and on the pilings here. And there's another animal that lives on the pilings called the barnacle. If you look closely, there's all these little barnacles living on this kelp crab.
Does it hurt the crab?
Yeah, they're growing it, right?
Is there
Oh, that's a good question. Somebody asked, does it hurt the crab? Well, in this case, it probably doesn't, right? In this case, it's probably giving this crab some camouflage so that other predators, like larger fish, can't see it very easily, right?
Oh, so
barnacles
the
and
barnacles
a
help?
lot of crabs will put things on their bodies so they can be camouflaged. Now, the barnacle can benefit because the barnacle can eat things like little pieces of food that the crabs left behind. That's a female, right? So we can't keep her because she's just, even if she's big enough, we can't keep her.
Well,
Yeah,
can we
that's
just
also, what is that?
female?
Measure.
Female.
Okay, they're
That's
both
right.
females.
Yeah. She's huge. Well, this one, yeah, this one,
California size.
this one would be big enough because look, she's big enough, but it's a female, so we can't keep her.
Okay, come on,
So, yeah.
She's the biggest size.
Yeah, that's a big crab.
Get
Ooh,
her,
look at the size
get
of it.
this
Yeah.
thing back in there.
Yeah, let me take a look at this one
Is
for
this
a
a
minute.
male? Do you know who this
Now,
is?
you can see that this crab lost its pincher a while ago, and now it's starting to grow it back. And it will eventually grow back.
You're on the fish cuts, honey.
Yeah, I'll take you on right now.
Watch the fish cuts.
Wow, look out.
Whoa, there's
There you go, I'll take you on, buddy.
no, leave my shoelace alone.
Puts a whole new meaning to the word nose piercing. She's beautiful. There are many wonderful places along the Oregon coast to go tide pooling and crabbing. You can also hang out on the beach and just relax. And you'll probably see some other interesting animals around the seashore. Be sure to watch for seabirds, reptiles and amphibians, marine mammals such as whales, dolphins, porpoises, and seals and sea lions, and another of our favorite animal, the banana slug. Thanks for joining us on a trip to the coast. We hope you had fun learning about the different tide pool creatures, and we'll see you next time on Animal Tracks with Sean and Allie. To learn more about tide pool creatures, check out these books, videos, and websites.
And this right here is their breathing hole. See that?
They have breath or
Huh?
breath mint.
Stick it in there, yeah. And you can see he'll open up his antennae in a minute. See that? And then they've got the eyes on the ends of these little stalks.
Hey, there's another slug.
It is, oh yeah, there's another one. Oh my God. See, look how big that one is. And see, now I'm gonna have it on my hands. The best way to get it off is just kind of rub it like, you know, when you put Elmer's glue on your hand and it dries and you sort of rub it off. That's the best way to get it off there. They belong to a group of animals called cephalopods. No. Cephalopods are octopus, that's head foot. What are the slugs? Gastropods, which means stomach foot, because they've got this big long foot, or this big long muscle that they travel along with on the bottom of their body there. I love banana slugs. They're one of my favorite animals. Me and the banana slug.